Yes, people, wife boy, and one man that has pleasantly surprised me has been Eddie Nketiah this season. So today I am discussing whether, when Gabriel Jesus ultimately comes back from his injury, should he actually replace Eddie Nketiah in the Arsenal starting 11? As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear it. And while you're down there, make sure you subscribe. I'm road to 2,000 subscribers. So that said, when Arsenal lost Gabriel Jesus during the World Cup, I kind of did think it could spell some trouble for this football club. Jesus has been pivotal at the start of the season for us. Throughout basically every game before the World Cup, his link-up play, he was just like a busybody, always getting around, making Sancar, Martinelli, Odegaard all look better. And of course, we're bringing Nketiah in. Nketiah's had experience for Arsenal, but everyone just seems to believe that he was never really ready to step up and be the #1 striker for Arsenal if he ever wanted to win the league or even make Champions League at the time. But Eddie Nketiah's come in, and boy has he been a breath of fresh air and really taking his game to the next level. He's already become Arsenal's top goal scorer this season with 9 Premier League goals, 9 goals in all competitions and 4 Premier League goals, one off Gabriel Jesus, who has scored 5 this season. So there probably is an argument to make whether Eddie Nketiah should remain in the starting level when Jesus comes back. Let's evaluate both sides. First, let's say that despite Jesus being injured, we cannot forget that this man has been so incredible and is definitely one of the reasons why we are challenging for this Premier League title, man. I mean, last season we had the Nketiah up front towards the end of it, and he looked good, and we got some key wins under him. I remember the Chelsea 4-2, what a win he was involved in when we beat Manchester United, for example. But this season we've taken a step up, and many people did believe that was due to certain players signing and certain players getting better, and one of those players being Gabriel Jesus. I just remember him at the start of the season against Crystal Palace. We were just running in circles around everyone, even against Chelsea this season away from home. We were just dancing around the defenders and just missed. He just brings that Brazilian flair to this Arsenal team. He just made Gabriel Martinelli look better, Saka look better. He's always linking up the play. He literally is perfect what Arteta wants. Arteta, I believe, is kind of like what Pep wanted to do until he brought Haaland in, which is rather than have an out-and-out goal scorer, have everyone that can contribute offensively, defensively, and have kind of like a lot of midfield attacking players. And that's what Jesus, Saka, Martinelli and Odegaard are. They all chip in with goals, but they also all work defensively. They're basically not just all going to sit there to score goals. They've got an abundance and a lot of attributes to their game. And Jesus was exactly that. And I love the player to bits. When he got injured, it looked like a long day. But something that Nketiah brings that Jesus does not necessarily bring is Nketiah is a goal poacher. I mean, I've literally got that song stuck in my head. Your defense is in trouble, Nketiah in the room. It's stuck in my head, but it's true. Like, the defense is in trouble when Nketiah is there. The man scores goals. He's a better goal scorer than Gabriel Jesus. I'm not saying that he brings as much to the team as Jesus brings, because Jesus is a very special player. But Nketiah summed it up perfectly. He goes, I'm not trying to be like Jesus. I'm just trying to be the best Eddie Nketiah. It's exactly what we need him to do. What you try and do is when Jesus comes out, we can't play the same way with Nketiah. We've tried it at times, but I actually think we've gone to a new level. Like, that game against Manchester United was some of the best football we've played. Equally against Tottenham, we dominated that game from start to finish. I'm not saying we wouldn't have with Gabriel Jesus, for example, but Eddie Nketiah brings another dynamic. He's a striker that doesn't drop in as much as Jesus drops in, so he gives us a threat up front. And when you've got a striker that's got a threat up front, he leaves the wide players with more space. Saka, Martinelli, they had the most one-on-one take-ons against Manchester United recently when we beat them 3-2. Saka especially got so much joy out of Luke Shaw, and he knows in the centre of the goal, he's got a player that is a poacher. He's a fox in the box. Whether you like him, dislike him, Eddie Nketiah scores goals. That's the fact of the matter. And you need a player that can score goals at the end of the day. Is it the fact that, I don't know, he's English, he's been through the academy, he hasn't really lit up like over his spell? Let's be honest, since he's come from Highlands, Eddie Nketiah hasn't exactly been setting the world on fire like Bukayo Saka did. Is that what it is? If we signed Eddie Nketiah from Brazil and we called him Edunio or something, would Arsenal fans get more excited about him? I'm not too sure. But for me, when I watch the guy play, if you only started watching Eddie Nketiah this season and not what he's done in seasons gone by, you'd think he's a top player, a £50 million striker we just signed. The brother is scoring big goals for us, man. You don't score 2 goals against Manchester United if you're not a good player. Even that first goal where he just snuck inside and headed it in. Poacher's finish from Nketiah. So for me, I'm being completely honest here, summarising my thoughts on it. For me, even if Jesus gets back, assuming Nketiah remains on his current form, the man has to start. Jesus does not walk into this team when Nketiah comes back for 2 reasons. 1, he's scoring goals for us. Why would we want to drop him for that? 2, you don't want to knock the boy's confidence. You can't have him playing well and then as soon as Nketiah comes back saying, sorry Eddie, you've had your time and Jesus is back in the team. It don't work like that, man. You can't knock the boy's confidence like that. If he's going to be the first or second striker for Arsenal, you need to instill the man with confidence. Arteta should sit him down and say, look, Jesus has come back, But I'm still got faith in you. You haven't let us down. You're going to be a number one striker. But now you've got competition again. So if you fail to deliver, just know that we've got one of the best players at this club ready to take your position, Gabriel Jesus. That would be how I would put it between them. So I think that's a fair way of doing it. It's something that Arteta needs to learn, because I believe he made a mistake earlier in his Arsenal reign towards the start, when I believe Emi Martinez had a brilliant run in the FA Cup and was looking like a top goalkeeper, and he basically sat him down and said, look, I want Leno to be the number one. You're going to have to be number two again. It kind of felt like. And Emi Martinez ends up leaving. He's now gone to Aston Villa. He's doing well. And of course, he's won a World Cup as well. I honestly believe if Arteta went to Martinez and said, look, you performed so well. I know Leno got injured, but you've been so good for me. I'm going to start you in goal. But if you have a drop in form, just know we've got a top goalkeeper in Leno ready to take your place. That's how I believe Arteta should have dealt with it. He's got a similar situation now, I think. Eddie Nketiah firing goals. But we know Jesus he's won the Premier League title before, he's got more experience. Does he make that same mistake of just bringing Jesus back in and annoying Nketiah and throwing Nketiah's confidence out the window? I'm not too sure. Obviously, it's something Arteta should learn from and deal better. I'm not complaining about the Emi Martinez-Leno situation, because of course we have Aaron Ramsdale in, who I think is a top goalkeeper. But just the way he dealt with that, I think wasn't the best moment in Arteta's career. But he's got an option now to right his wrongs from previously and learn his lesson. That's all it's about, learning your lesson as a manager, and I think he can do exactly that in this situation. As always, let me know in the comment section down below who you would rather start, Nketiah or Jesus when he comes back from injury, provided that Nketiah remains on his current form that he's currently outputting. As always, subscribe down below if you love Arsenal football related videos on my road to 2,000 subscribers. Make sure you like, and I hope to see you all in my next video.